Hello everyone and welcome back for another Sims build tour. Today I'm excited to go through my first shell challenge. So I like Lilsimsie. I decided to do one of her shell challenges. I've always enjoyed watching them and was like, you know what, I'm going to take a crack at it. And so the first one I did of hers is the llama shell challenge. And we're just not going to talk about this. I just felt like wearing it because I didn't have my hair done and I was like, I'm going to put my cowboy hat on because I've not worn it very much. So that's why this is on. But this is Lilsimsie's profile on the gallery, and so this is the Llama Shell Challenge. And so you can read right here, it's just download this lot, turn it into anything you want. The only rule is that you can't change any of the existing walls. My exterior walls must remain, but you can add interior walls, a floor plan, half walls or fences, roofs, patios, platforms, etc. You can move or rotate the lot, literally anything goes, just don't change my walls. Don't forget the basement. Like with all of my builds, if you're interested in downloading it and want to see it, it is the Llama Love Haven. So this is what we're going to be touring today. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home. So I built this lot in Glimmerbrook, and it's on this big lot right here. It's a 40 by 30 lot. And we're gonna hop in. Nestled in the enchanting woodlands of Glimmerbrook is an abode shaped like a llama with love and whimsy in mind. This home tells a story of resilience and new beginnings as a single mom and her 2 daughters create a vibrant sanctuary following the loss of a beloved husband and dad. The basement serves as a tender memory vault for cherished keepsakes, while the upstairs has been transformed into a delightful mother-daughter hangout, full of laughter and shared moments. So here's the outside. Like I said, I stacked the shells, and so if you go all the way up here, you can see the outline of the llama. I made the roof grass, and so there's the llama. It's just kind of rotated, so the bottom of the llama is on this side, so you can see the legs down here where the balcony is over here. So it's literally the shells stacked on top of one another, and I did it in a really fun way to where the upper shell is kind of off-centered, and I used terrain tools, which is everyone's favorite thing to do in The Sims, to raise all of the land on this side up. So it kind of gives this unique, like it was built into the I don't know, the hill right here that I made. I don't know. I just wanted it to be a little more dynamic. One thing that might catch your, eye, other than, the llama bushes, I had to put the llama bushes for this build, are the rocks. Let me tell you, whenever I say this crashed my game so many times, and I wish that I wasn't kidding about that, but I placed every single one of these rocks, I kid you not, and it took forever, and I think it overloads the game a little bit because I still struggle just to get in live mode. So I love to do my tours in live mode because you can see all of the effects and like water movement and all of the effects for like the fireflies or anything like that that you put in. I just could not get it to load. And I promise you, it's from the literal hundreds of rocks that I put all around this part of the lot because it just has to load and render so much stuff, I'm assuming. And they might count it as like separate items, but yeah, it was a little extensive. I like to show it at nighttime too, just so you can see. So this is what the outside looks like at nighttime in the front and on the side over here. I put this red water with the pond over on this upper part of the land. I wanted to make it red to kind of match with the rock. And so you can tell from the outside I went with red and black a lot. And I was kind of going for this balance between modern and industrial. So I used the beams around the top, the metal beams, but with wood. And then you have these nice little kind of stone looking accents that look modern. I wanted this to be kind of like a fun area on the second floor to come out to. Bird bath, bird house, bird feeder, and just the water feature. So I thought that was really cool. And then on the back, so I wanted it to be like a nice hangout. So you remember in the description, I talked about like a mother-daughter hangout upstairs, which we'll get to. I wanted it to kind of carry through. So you have a nice tree house over here on the side for like thinking the daughters grew up with this, their dad built it, and they had a nice little hangout spot. And now, as they're getting older, the bonfire is kind of where the mom and the daughters hang out at night or something along those lines, and then a nice little patio area to kind of eat on. I had a nice little courtyard area, just some pretty flowers and bushes around it. I went with like pink and purple hues over here with a fountain in the center, and then the fountain built in around the house right here in this little indentation that I have for the house. And so I thought that was a pretty neat little vibe. For the front, I wanted to have this kind of nice looking front porch that was big with lots of seating. So you have a bench over here by this ivy wall that I built, and then a nice little bench right here next to the front door with a lot of plants. Plants, plants, plants everywhere. I definitely used a lot of Jungle Adventure. I love that pack so much. So as you enter the front door, you are greeted with a huge grand piano right in your face. I did some really fun things in this house. So this was one of the proudest moments I had up until this point. I built this house, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I wanted to play a lot with fun colors and kind of go with a more eclectic kind of vibe just to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. And you'll see that upstairs especially. I used a lot of Movie Hangout. So as you can imagine, if you're familiar with that pack, has a lot of crazy colors and designs. But I tried to carry that theme throughout with combining some colors and doing some fun color schemes. So I have a lot of like reds and oranges in this main area. So where I have the main living space, I have a little nook with books, like a reading spot if you want to hide away and just read. And then I did this cool custom fireplace. It is functional. There is real fire that works in live mode, which is kind of why I wanted to show you in that, which was done by you kind of cheating with these brazier floor lamps, medieval brazier, I don't know how to say that. A brazier is how I'm saying it right now. So if you download the house and go in live mode, then you'll see some cool fire right here in the fireplace. And I wanted to make it double-sided, of course, and so I think that makes it a really unique kind of space to put right here to kind of separate the living and the dining kitchen area. And the kitchen, I carried the red and orange tones throughout, and so the kitchen was more where you got the blue, and I played around with that a lot with the blue and red. And you know me, if you've watched any of my builds, I feel like every build I've done has bitonal cabinets, so they're different colors every time from the bottom and the top. Maybe not every time. I know in a renovation I did that. I didn't do that, I don't think. I don't know. I probably did. Black is throughout the house as well, like I mentioned, for the outside too. And I wanted to do something kind of fun with the island, so I made this kind of unique shape. It makes me think of a logo for something, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't remember what it is. But I thought that was kind of a neat vibe, and then I even have extra seating over here to the right for eating and things like that. And you can look out the window right here, which I think is kind of nice. And so this is the staircase to the basement, which we'll get to, and a nice little like bar cart area over here with some tea and coffee as well. And then I love book nook kit, so I put that in here as well. So you have a nice little nook in the living room, and then you have a larger nook over here by the dining area. And I thought this was kind of a fun vibe to have in this spot with a little accent wall with the stone. And then to the left, you get to the dining space. So kind of tried some bold colors here with the orange, and I doubled up the carpet, or the rug rather, under the table. And so this is kind of a nice vibe, I think, with all the windows and the lighting that comes in, kind of stunning. I wanted a nice big dining table because it fit there really well, and it's a big house. This was one of the biggest houses. I think even to date, this is still one of the biggest houses that I've done. So let's go ahead and head upstairs. So this is where the fun and the magic happens. So once you go upstairs, there's a lot to unpack here. You have this nice little bar area, and I put a popcorn maker on it because, you know, I'm thinking if it's a fun hangout space and it's movie hangout. It's like I eat popcorn almost every night. And so I was like, I'm going to put a popcorn maker in here. This is what I was talking about when I was really trying to do some pretty different things from what I'm used to. I mix and matched a ton of patterns here, but I think in a very unique way it works. For instance, I think with, even though you have a lot of colors going on here, the triangles and the rug kind of go with the triangle on the little ottoman right here. And just the mix of colors, it's kind of like the light blue is what I carried through in a lot of things. So the tiger here, the cushion on the couch, the coffee table, the ottomans have it, the curtains have it, the shelf here has it. I even put it over here. So that light blue color was something I was trying to tie it in with the bold like pink and purples. And I think it works really well. It can be a little busy when you look at it at first, but after you adjust to it for a second, I think it's kind of a cool vibe. And then I put a nice little table over here. I put the puzzle set over here, and then just thinking of like board games and things like that. So this is just a nice space where I added plants. If you know me, I love my plants. Every build of mine, I kid you not, every build is going to have a ton of plants. I'm not sorry about it. That's just how it's going to be with me. I love the plant selection in The Sims. I think they do that really well, and it really livens the space up quite nicely. And I went with a fun print over here with the wallpaper. and wanted to go with the plant theme even further on this side. So you have a crazy wallpaper over there and then a crazy one kind of over here. But that's why I kept the rest of the walls just a plain color everywhere else so it didn't feel like it was getting too busy. One thing you're probably noticing too are the amount of rugs that I used. So I love layering rugs, and you've probably seen that in some of my previous builds, and you'll see it in my future builds because I can think of a few I've done that with that I've not shown on the channel yet. I love stacking rugs up and doing some really fun things with the color scheme. So over here is just a nice little seating area, and then this is the door to that outside space that I showed at the beginning of the video. So you just come right out here and you can enjoy that space a good bit. Over here on the left is the first bathroom that I'll be showing you. And this is kind of what I thought of as the daughter's shared space. So I love using platforms. I use them in my bathrooms all the time. And so I thought this was really unique to have like steps up to both the shower, and the tub itself is also a little bit raised. Some nice vibes over here. Again, the red orangey kind of color scheme is what's carrying through with the blue accents a little bit. And that's why you see that column there from Juggle Adventure as well. And then these are the daughter's bedrooms. So first we'll enter what I was thinking of as like the younger of the two. And so this is the bedroom space for her. Like I said, I went all out. In this build, I feel like I did some really fun color schemes throughout. So the red orange, I really went all for in this bedroom, again with that blue, or this is more of a turquoisey type cyan color, and then red accent furniture on this side. So lots of things to do in here. I would have loved to have had things like this in my bedroom growing up. It's a nice, cool vibe in my opinion. Once you go out here and go into what I am considering the older daughter, I went with a lot of purples and pinks. And so really leaning into the movie Hangout a bit more for this room. And I like to think that she liked, knitting and cross stitching and things like that. So that's why a lot of the stuff in the bedroom kind of features that type of artwork over here with the stitching and just the basket with the knitting supplies and everything else. So I thought that was like a fun vibe for the bedroom space over here. So lots of fun colors. And both of the bedrooms really, but really just leaning into the movie Hangout a bit more for this space. The only thing left to show on this floor is the primary bedroom, which we're slowly getting to, sorry. As we go into the primary bedroom, this I had a lot of fun doing. It was kind of a color combination I hadn't done before, which features this like peachy orange corally color and this green. And I thought it went really well with the wallpaper. So I kind of did like an accent feature wall with these wall lights on the side, which I thought kind of added like a neat little aesthetic to it. And then you have a nice little wardrobe and mirror over here. So brought in some of the blue tones with those items, and a little computer desk area, guitar. But you could also do some artwork here, which I really like the idea of putting easels by windows like this. I always try to do something along those lines where there's like a cool little view. And then there's a door that goes to that balcony that I was saving to show you until now. So there's a really nice seating area over here. Used a lot of the courtyard oasis for this part of the build especially. And I really love how it turned out. I used a lot of mismatched furniture, which also was getting me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Sometimes I like things to match a little too much. But it got a nice fountain up here, plants of course, decor, put this big tree right here. And then it has a wraparound balcony, which I didn't go through the door off of the hangout space, but I put a chess table out here. You have the bonsai tree. So lots of things to do in this house. That leads me to get to the basement. So I don't know why I was working on this space up here, and this is what really inspired the story behind it. But I was really getting into the vibes up here, and I was like, this is a great hangout space. I want to do something like that. And just imagining, parent hanging out with her kids. But since there was a basement, I was really kind of not sure what to do, because oftentimes people will use the basement as the hangout space. And so I was just kind of like, well, what if I just end up, it's a sad story, but what if the dad had his stuff up here, like his gym equipment and things like that, and it was a shared space, but it was a lot of his stuff. And I like to think of it as, they were finally ready to, move on, and they made this drastic change. They wanted to change the house and put his stuff, keep it, but put it in the basement, and then create a space that brought them pain and turn it into something that's really fun. And so that was kind of the story that I was going with, and why I wanted the upstairs to be such a fun, kind of vibrant space. was because it was to take away from the sadness. And so I don't know why I came up with that story. I really don't. But it was just something that came to mind, and I was like, I think this makes a really nice story for the build itself and how I use the space. And so let's go check out that basement. And I forgot to show you, actually, I forgot to go into here. This is another bathroom space. Just have another bathroom. In here, big mirror, at the jungle adventure mirror, and the llama stones. I have these llama stones all over the house, so you'll see those all over, especially outside, as like accent stones and things like that. Bathtub and toilet, nothing too, fancy in here. Just a nice bathroom. Okay, and then over here is where we'll go down to the basement. Down here, like I said, there's some workout equipment, so I liked thinking that this is what was upstairs, along with some of his furniture. So I was thinking like, okay, he had the TV up there, one of his chairs, how we all have like a chair or designated spot when we watch TV, and his records and things like that. I was really trying to lean into the storyline a good bit with this, and then just a lot of, normal storage, things like that, a broken mirror, old pictures and canvases over here, old books, games, trophies, things like that. And then I was thinking like a wine cellar type situation over here, because I was thinking maybe that was the business that he was in. And so there's a lot of like leftover crates that are stacked over here with things in them. And then I like to think that this was, their wedding picture, or a picture from their wedding. And that this picture right here was like the mom consoling her daughter. I think it might actually be a boy in the picture, but I was just trying to, pretend. I've said it in like all of my videos. I try to be really intentional with my things and my builds and things like that. Whatever my idea is, or whatever, ChatGPT tells me. I did not use ChatGPT for this. So if you know my previous videos too, I love using ChatGPT in a lot of my builds, but this one was all me. I did not use it. Kind of like to, do my own thing sometimes too, without something kind of giving me parameters to follow. And then there's one more thing that I want to show you that I didn't show you yet. It's in a very small nook, and it's right here. So I did this kind of built-in terrarium, and then at nighttime, even since I put that light in it, it's kind of a nice little vibe. But I had this one tile, and I was like, I want to use it for something. And at first I had like, you can have a one tile bathroom or something like that. And I was like, this isn't the vibe. And I have a bathroom like right here already. I don't need that. And I really wanted to do an aquarium, but that would have taken too much effort and like figuring out things, because it's not very easy to like do a DIY aquarium. And so this is what I came up with, was a terrarium instead. And I think it looks really cool. I think it would be fun to have a space like this with a lot of plants in it. And as I do in all of my builds, I hide an item of some sort. So for this one, I hid the Copperdale Llama Sports mascot figurine. So you will find this guy somewhere in the house, and it's not this big. Obviously, you'd be able to find it if it were. This is the item I hid somewhere in the house. And comment down below if you saw it in the tour, because I think there was a pretty clear shot of it. Just don't say where you saw it, please, so other people can enjoy trying to find out where I hid that. But let me know if you enjoyed this build. My next video is going to be on touring my base game starter home, which I think is one of my least favorite builds that I've ever done, and it was the most frustrating. I actually did the vast majority of that build on a couple of Twitch streams. So if you don't follow me on Twitch, you can follow me. I'm also Dr. Sims on there with 3 S's. I'm not really doing it consistently yet. I'd like to build my audience up a little bit here on my channel before doing that more consistently, but I did post those VODs over on my Dr. Sims Live Mode channel, so I have that link down below. That's where I'll put all of my VODs moving forward, and with that, I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye! Let me know down below if any of you have done a shell challenge and which one's your favorite. I'd love to get some good ideas for some future videos, and maybe I'll try the same shell challenge that you did.